Go. Yeah, we got BMX legend Rick Thorne here.
Where?
Over there.
You son of a...
But we'll be talking about music, though, and maybe a little BMX.
That'll work.
So I understand you had a punk band called Thorne for a while, and now you're Rick Thorne, more of a solo kind of thing.
Yeah.
You just shot a music video this week. We just looked at the footage from that.
Yeah.
And you had an EP that came out a few months back.
Yeah.
And so what's going on with your music?
Well, when I first started, it was a band called Good Guys in Black, and I had that for like 6 years or something, And then I went to like just Thorne briefly, but then I realized having success in action sports or extreme sports, whatever, BMX, it was easier for me to like hire people to be in to play with me in my music, because it just seemed like I'd already branded myself with writing and television and stuff like that, to where it just made more sense. It was easier for me to tell my story with less frustration. You know what I mean? And but yeah, no, it's awesome, dude. Like, I just shot this video for this song called "Love Song Gone Wrong," and that's a single I'm gonna release with the video coming up in the next within the next month.
GoPro footage from that.
I did. I got a sneak peek, dude. Don't tell anybody. Oh wait. Oh, son of a. But no, man. The music's cool. Like, the music's an extension of everything you do, as far as like, for me at least, like writing is a physical aspect for me, and music's more of an emotional release. So like, I get enjoyment out of both, but music's where it's at right now with me, and writing, of course. But like music's all day, every day.
You still go around taking your bike around abandoned pools, from what I understand.
Yeah, we bomb the pools, dude, like every day. I mean, not, we try to go every day, but we find pools and go ride pools or parks or whatever. But it's cool because, in a strange way, like, writing bounces off of me with my writing for songs. Yeah, so like they both feed off of each other. And for a long time in my life, I felt like, writing was all that I needed, but deep inside I always wanted to be, expressing myself differently with music. And now I feel like I'm pretty complete, in that I don't ever really have a dull moment. You know what I mean? Sometimes I have dull moments, but not too many.
You had a bass player that just went to suicidal tendencies, our good friend Raw.
He did.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, my homie Raw just joined Suicidals, and he's stoked.
But they have Lombardo playing drums from Slayer,
Yeah, they do. And when I first met Raw and we started jamming, I said, hey, man, like, I wanted to fill him out, like, what kind of music he was into. Because the last thing you want is someone to be, you hire, I don't like to really say hire, because the dudes I jam with, or I have jam with me, we're all homies, we're cool, right? And I said, what kind of band would you want to be in ultimately? Yeah. And he says, man, my favorite band is Suicidal Tendencies. I said, well, that's sweet, dude, because, okay, me and you can relate. Like, if you would have came to me and said, oh, I want to be like, and no disrespect towards whatever music you want to play, man, I really don't care. I'm focused on what I'm doing. But if you came and you said, oh, I want to be the bass player for like Miley Cyrus or something, I'd be like, yo, that's cool, but that shit ain't working with what I'm doing, because I know on stage you're not going to project the way that like fits this style of what I'm trying to do. So when he said Suicidals, I was like, all right, man, me and you are cool, man. That's sick. And now he landed the bass gig for Suicidals. Yeah. Man, I couldn't be happier for him. He's freaking rad, man.
You got Tiny Biosa from TSOL too.
Yeah. Tiny jams with me sometimes. So does Darren from Goldfinger or Sean from Everclear. So I kind of rotate. You know what I mean? Like I said, like, I have certain dudes but everybody's in different bands. Yeah. Everybody's like looking to be hired. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Or they're looking to be to go on tour with this band or be in this band, whatever. And I'm aware of that. But when you're a vocalist, you can't be hired.
It's your group.
I mean, you could be hired. You could be like, hey, we want you to be the singer for whatever. Yeah. But when you create like your own, not brand, but you create like as a vocalist, it's different. You can't just be like, oh, I'm in 5 different bands. Yeah. It doesn't work. Yeah. So for me, like, I have different people that are available and that love jamming with me, and I love jamming with them. So it's cool. It's cool like that, man. And it works pretty good.
Oh, no, that's cool.
It's all good, dude.
Now, the times I've seen you perform was actually at the Ultimate Jam Night back when it used to be at Lucky Strike. And, Stan Lee from Dickies came and played with you, and Greg Hudson from Circle Jerks, Bad Religion.
Yep.
So, I mean, how was that? You had some punk legends, basically, that you were doing some music with up there?
Oh, it was rad. I mean, those guys got mad roots. Like they've been doing it a long time. I met Hetson for a long while ago on Warped Tour, because I've done 14 Warped Tours, man, in my life, and I rode on every single one, and then I played on 2 of them. But like, me and him have known each other for a while, but we never jammed together. But then, man, those guys are like solid. You know what I mean? They're like leaders in this game, and I was honored to get to jam with them.
Some Sex Pistols, I remember.
Yeah, it was cool. It was way cool. And like, the thing about going up there, like the ultimate jam night, is there's no rehearsal. It's like balls to the wall. You gotta like just do it. Yeah. But knowing that you got like dudes like Stan Lee and Hetson playing, you know that they're gonna be solid. So you got to step up your game.
Yeah.
So yeah, those guys are rad, super rad.
Yeah, I got some video footage one of those weeks. Maybe we'll throw that in somewhere.
Yeah, dude, for sure. No, it was fun. It was definitely fun, and just like through the years of like riding and being involved with all the other things that I've been doing, I've met a lot of musicians along the way, and that's been like in the beginning, like, because I've been playing music now for about 9 years, and in the beginning, it was I felt like it was in the beginning, I felt like it was one of those things where it was like, oh great, here's another bike rider or a skater or whatever trying to be in a band, and for me, because they know you like people know you as like that, like okay, you're. It's almost like, okay, this dude is a guitar player, and then tomorrow, now the next day, he all of a sudden now wants to be a skater or a bike rider or whatever. So it's hard to like detach the two, especially coming from the bike world, because in the BMX world, there are some people that have bands, but there's been no one at my level that started a band, that's done X Games, that's done Cribs, that's done all these things, right? That said, okay, now I still want to do that, but I want to do a band. And I felt like a lot of people were just throwing their hands in the air like, oh, man, who's this? Here's another whatever, right? So what I'm trying to get at is that I've known those guys for a long time, and finally being able to jam with them, even for just one song, was rad, because they, not to say that them particularly or specifically thought that way about me, but it just makes me feel like, I'm legit enough to be on stage with those guys, even though I always thought I was. But in the very beginning, I think people doubted me. Not to say that any of those guys did, but I think a lot of people did.
Now, you started with BMX. I'm not going to list how many years ago, but you've been doing this since BMX basically started. You're one of the early guys, I think, and now it's a huge mainstream, big money making thing. But when you started, it was just like a sport you were doing for fun.
Yeah.
How'd you see it evolve over the years?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same approach you have to do with, like, anything that you love to do. Like, if you like to do it, is that we just rode, man, on the real, like, a lot of the dudes back in the day, we rode just because a lot of us didn't want to be at home. A lot of us maybe had issues at home, maybe wanted to feel, like, alive in some sort. It wasn't like, we didn't really know what our goals were outside of, like, immediate goals of like, hey, there's this jump, we should try to jump it, So I think a lot of us really back in the day, we started riding just strictly because it was about friends too, and it was about like being with your buddies and hanging out and talking shit and riding and having a good time. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that spirit's still alive today. I also think that there's probably people that see it for a way to make a career, which is cool too, man. But when we started, it was just basically because, or at least for me, I just didn't feel much out of life until I started riding. I needed to express myself in some way, And even back then, though, dude, I wanted to start a band.
Oh, was it
Yeah, even when I was a kid, but I wasn't born, and not to make excuses by any means, but I wasn't born into music, I wasn't born into TV, I wasn't born into film, I wasn't born into sports, I wasn't born into any of it. What I mean by born into it is that no one else in my immediate family or uncles or anyone did any of this stuff, Right. So I just kind of looked at it like I was just gonna have to go for it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, music. So. You said 9 years ago. That's when you started going in music.
Yeah.
How'd you do that? You decide, okay, I'm finally going to do some music, record, play shows.
Well, there was a point at the time in the industry, but the BMX industry, where like I was getting like a lot of slack, or not a lot of slack, a lot of shit from the industry, and slack's not the right word, but no, Yeah, that wasn't positive. And I think it was because, like, you know, people didn't realize that I was making a living off of TV, film, radio, hosting, touring, sponsors. And a lot of guys had sponsors and would say it was all a comparison game. And at the time, I needed an outlet. And I knew writing was my outlet, but I felt like I needed something more. And then I just told myself, well, man, you always say follow your dreams to people. And you always say, like, yo, like, do your shit, man. Stay rad. Go, go, go. And then I was like, well, I need to just go for it. Yeah. And I just, like I said, after being involved in a Warped Tour and doing all these musical tours and shit like that, I was like, well, I'm around it and I dress like it and I have the attitude of it and I know I have the stage presence. Well, how am I going to go do it? Yeah. And so that's what I mean, back to what you asked me before, why I hire. Because in the beginning, I'd be like, okay, us 4 guys, we're good guys in black, let's go. But I didn't understand how musicians think, especially in L.A.
There's a certain mentality behind that.
Yeah, like I didn't know that people were like, yo, that's Rick Thorne, he did this, he's got sponsors, he can get us this, he can get us that. And I thought they were more like, yo, we're down, when really it was like what they could get. Yeah. And once I woke up to that after once I woke up after like 22 musicians, at least, different photo shoots, I just said, you know what, man, like, I understand it now. Yeah. But when I first started jamming, I was like, yo, like, I'd get upset, you know? Yeah. I'm like, fuck, man, this dude, like, why he's got belling, you know, and this and that. And so when I hire, if that's the word you want to use, it just makes more sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's just easier for me.
Do you have any other shows lined up so far?
I do. June 4th, I'm playing at the Marrow down in San Diego. I just got done playing the Viper, which was rad. I played Lucky Strike. Yeah. But there's going to be a lot more shows, man. A lot more. Like you have to just keep being persistent. Yeah. And I love, man, if I could play every day and record every day, and not say if, but like, yeah. I would love it. I'd be on the road every day.
And rickthorne.tv is where people can get updates on you?
Yeah, and then Instagram's just Rick Thorne. There's an E at the end of my name.
Oh, you keep all your stuff updated, I noticed.
I try, man, I try. But just multitasking. Yeah. I started a clothing brand, too, called Thorns and Grind. This is what I'm doing right now. Thorns and Grind, the music, the riding. I do total DIY. I do a lot of my own stuff. You know what I mean? It's like nonstop. So right now it's riding, the clothing line, and the music. And, yeah. Check out thornsandgrind.com, or not .com, but just it's through rickthorne.tv, but Thorns and Grind, and then the music as well, and riding, and all of it.
Good stuff. Cool. We'll see you June 4th in San Diego then.
Yeah, dude, thanks for the interview.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
Awesome. Hey, you, keep watching. Oh, wait, are we done?
Yeah, no, it's still going.
No, but are we done with the interview?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, then get out of here, man. Come on.